What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 is just a couple months away now, and we will be finding out a lot more information here towards the end of the month. Since the Night City Wire reveal event has been postponed until June 25th, that is when we will be receiving a lot more information going forward, and we will obviously be getting more information as we get closer to release. But until then, I wanted to go over some of the information that we already know about the game, and I figured I would break it down into the top 10 things that you should know before you jump into Cyberpunk 2077 here in September. So with that said, let's just jump right into it. So to start us off, we have the customization system. Now, there is a lot of customization in this game, and let's face it, you're probably going to spend a couple hours just creating your new character alone. There are tons of customization options, from hair to scars to makeup, skin tone, cyberistic details, tattoos, and you can even go as far as customizing the size of your character's genitals. And then after you're done spending those hours changing the way that you look, you can finally get to customizing your stats. Now, things work a little bit different with Cyberpunk. There is no class system in this game, unlike with most RPGs where you just pick a class and then you base your skills around that class throughout your entire playthrough. Well, with Cyberpunk, it works differently because you choose your life path to begin with, but then you can spend your points however you like throughout your entire playthrough. So there is no set class. You can spend your perk points however you wish. However, the life path that you choose at the beginning of the game will affect certain in-game dialogue options with certain gang interactions. The three life paths that you can choose from are Nomad, Street Kid, and Corporate. Choosing your life path won't necessarily let you join any of the gangs, but it will change the way that some of them might treat you. So there is a lot of customization options and a lot to take in before you even start the game and get past the character creator. And it is something that I'm really looking forward to. And then next up, I want to talk about Johnny Silverhand. So we all remember E3 2019 when Keanu Reeves came out on stage and revealed the new trailer for Cyberpunk, and then he also revealed that he would be playing Johnny Silverhand, and the crowd went nuts.
Is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
But the thing about Johnny Silverhand is that he actually will be living inside the player's head. The developers have said that you can choose how you grow your relationship with Johnny, and that he will play a big part in the main story. Now, Johnny supposedly has died many years before the game even takes place, but his legacy lives on throughout the city and inside of you. So think of him as the Joker from the Arkham Knight game. The Joker was in Batman's head and was constantly popping out throughout the entire game at random times. He would comment on different situations, he would help you out with certain puzzles, and sometimes he would be really annoying, and other times he provided a comedic relief. So this is the best comparison that I have. I really loved what they did with the Joker in Arkham Knight, and I really hope that Johnny plays a similar role to what the Joker did, and I can't wait to see all the different interactions and just when Johnny's going to pop up. And I can already tell that Johnny's probably going to be a smartass.
Wake the f up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Next up, I want to talk about the different vehicles. There are multiple types of vehicles in Cyberpunk, and you can drive and steal any of them. Now, we don't know for sure what types of vehicles that you can store as your personal vehicles, but we do know that, like in Grand Theft Auto, you can steal any vehicle you see. But depending on your location on the map, you might have more consequences than other areas. For example, stealing a car in the Badlands outside of the city probably won't have very many witnesses, and you can probably get away with it. But if you steal a car inside of the city, that might land you in trouble with the law enforcement. And then we also know that you can call your personal vehicle to you at any time with a tracker, just like a mount would act in most RPGs. Normally you can just whistle for your horse. Well, in this game, you'll activate your tracker and you can spawn your personal vehicle nearby. That way you don't have to constantly run around and steal vehicles. But if you are in a pinch, you do have that option to steal whatever vehicle that you like. And then up next, I want to talk about the multiple paths to completing quests. Now, during the Cyberpunk deep dive video, we learned that there are different paths to completing quests. Now, normally in most video games, a quest has a straightforward start and finish, and it will always have the same preset outcome. But in Cyberpunk 2077, you can play each quest in multiple ways. You can take a stealthy approach, you can go in guns blazing, you can interact with different NPCs to give you different dialogue options and different outcomes in your mission, and then depending on your approach in quests, it can affect how the main story and other side quests will play out in the future later in the game. Now in that demo, we saw after a boss fight you had the option to save or spare the boss's life. This is just an example of depending on your choice may change the way that the gangs treat you in the future. I would imagine if you spare the boss's life, they might take revenge on you, or maybe they see it as a sign of respect, and maybe that increases your reputation with that gang, or you could straight up kill the boss, and I'm sure that has its own set of consequences as well. Now this is a huge deal because everyone will have different gaming experiences than everybody else. No one will have the same exact storyline. Everybody will be making different decisions which will affect their story in different ways. Plus this gives you the option for numerous different playthroughs. You can make multiple different characters and your story will be different almost every time you play it. And then speaking of quests having different consequences, there are random events that can take place throughout the map. Depending on your choices that you have made in certain missions, this can affect these random events. As seen in the gameplay demo, you end up getting attacked by a van of thugs because of the choices you made in an earlier mission. You are never safe in Cyberpunk 2077, someone is always out to get you. So be sure to choose between your allies and your enemies wisely. And now I want to talk about the Ripper Docs. Now these Ripper Doctors are the ones that will provide you with cyberware upgrades. This is where you'll probably be spending most of your money. Now we don't know just yet how many upgrades you can have at once, or if they are interchangeable, or if you can undo the changes, but some of these Ripper Docs can even hook you up with illegal military grade cyberware for the right price. Things like scanners, weapon grips, mechanical legs, and much, much more. So cyberware is just one of the many upgrades that you can do to your character alongside different perks, weapons, weapon upgrades, vehicle upgrades, and much more. Now one thing that has disappointed quite a few people is that there is only one apartment and garage for your main character. So over a year ago, it was thought that we could have multiple apartments, but it has recently been confirmed by one of the art directors that you can only have one apartment and garage to store your vehicles in one playthrough. So this is disappointing to a lot of people. I know a lot of people in RPGs like to have multiple homes and they like to customize their homes. I am one of those people as well, but keep in mind that this game does have a number of large DLC updates coming in the future. So if there's enough people requesting more apartments and different property locations, it might be something that we see later on down the road. But your apartment has a number of different things, such as an armory to store your weapons, a closet to change all your different clothes, and yes, clothes will affect your stats in Cyberpunk 2077. I just hope that you can change the way that your apartment looks with different decorations and stuff. I hope that it's not just a stale, plain, static apartment and you can't change anything. I hope that you can earn collectibles and stuff throughout your playthrough and then just use them and decorate however you want. That way everybody's apartment at least feels unique and different from everybody else's. Now there is a lot of things that you can do in Cyberpunk 2077. Outside of the main story and side quests, there are a ton of mini games that you can participate in, such as street races, boxing matches, a shooting range, hacking mini games, and romances. And these romances will also include sex scenes with nudity. So you should not find any shortage of things to do in this huge open world. Now one of the coolest features that I have found out about Cyberpunk is that it is going to have a unique looting system, meaning that the loot isn't just randomized, loot will appear where it makes sense. So unlike in other RPGs where you will find ammo in refrigerators or grenades in bathtubs and toilets, in Cyberpunk you will find loot where it makes sense in the world. So for example, you shouldn't find any weapons that belong to the Voodoo Boys gang in the Maelstrom gang hideout. And you also shouldn't find any random weapons just laying out in the street where they wouldn't belong. Now I really like this idea because it makes things more realistic and immersive. I'm all for going out and having to find loot. You'll have to scavenge buildings, scavenge hideouts, purchase weapons and ammo from dealers. And I think this is the better way to make a loot system. I don't like it in RPGs where you just find random items where they shouldn't be. It just takes a little bit of the immersion away from me when they do that personally. Then the 10th and final thing I want to go over in this video is Cyberpunk's multiplayer. Now CD Projekt Red is mainly known for their single player games and a lot of focus is going on the single player story for Cyberpunk, but they have said that they are going to work on a multiplayer. Now the crazy part is that it isn't going to be part of the game itself, but it's It's expected to release in 2022 and will be its own separate title that you'll have to buy separately. Now I know this is probably controversial for a lot of people, but if this game is half as good as what it sounds and looks like it's going to be, then I'm all for it. I don't care if its own separate title. I don't care if it's even $60. If this game is as good as what it's supposed to be, and then 2 years later they release a multiplayer that I could run around the city and play with my friends, then I'm completely fine with that. I just imagine something like GTA Online, but obviously it's the Cyberpunk setting. You could probably have an apartment, multiple personal vehicles, and then since it's CD Projekt Red, I would imagine it would have tons of content and probably have tons of free updates as well. So who knows what that multiplayer is going to be. It's a shame that it's going to come out 2 years later, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So that is going to do it for everything in this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you guys are looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077, then let me know down in the comment section down below what you guys are the most excited for. And I am going to be covering a lot of Cyberpunk here in the future and in the upcoming months. The closer we get to Cyberpunk, the more news that we will have, and I will keep you guys updated. So if you guys are new here, please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out. Leave a like on the video. Be sure to join the channel's Discord, and be sure to follow me on Twitch at SwanyPlaysGames Live. And that is going to do it for me, guys, and I will talk to you all in the next video.